Always find the silver lining. She got her airport fantasy, and I'm sure you're living your best life on your couch fantasy right now. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, Nadine Speaks. Well, today I have a special guest, my sister, my little hermanita. She came all the way from Spain. I know, I told you guys she was making her way back. I was about to go see her, but things changed. And now she's here and living to tell the story of how she made her way all the way from Spain to the land of the free in one piece. So, yay, let's give her a round of applause. Welcome. So if you don't know, my sister is a singer. She actually has her own YouTube channel. I'll link it down below so you can binge watch all her videos while you're sitting at home on your booty. But yeah, so she's here to tell us the story of how she made her way down from Spain and lived to tell the tale. Does not have coronavirus that we know of.
I hope not.
So I'm still keeping a little bit close to her, but I'm trying not to get the virus. Thank you so much for sending in your questions. We got a bunch on how she came back to Spain and what it's like on the other side, how it's like in the airport. I'm sure you're dying to know. So here we got my sister in the living form to spill the tea for you, and I really hope you like this video. If you like what you see, don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below right here and give a big ass thumbs up. Yeah. So first things first, I'm sure you're all dying to know. Remember how I told you how she was all cooped up in her apartment? I know. So now we're gonna figure out how it was.
So I live in an apartment in Toledo, Spain, and I lived with two other roommates, one from Cordoba and one from Russia, which was very interesting. And we were all stuck together. I have my own room, so we would all help each other and we would cook for each other. We had nothing better to do than to make pastries and cook for each other. And the day that we got into quarantine was actually my birthday, so
that was the day I was supposed to fly in. Actually, it was the day that she got into quarantine. So thank God I did not get stuck with her.
Yeah, it was a whole mess. So they were really nice about it, and they made me a carrot cake and it was delicious. They got me candles and everything.
I'll put pictures so you can see what it looks like.
Yeah. And they made me a whole lunch, which was nice. And so yeah, we were just hanging out, and most of the time we were in our rooms. I was working out, doing my exercises, doing stretching, doing music, lots of music, writing songs. I posted some covers during that time because I was super bored and I was trying to be inspirational to other people so that we wouldn't get so bored. I had other friends who were living in Madrid, which it was way worse in Madrid as well, so we were all just trying to look out for each other and be there for each other, messaging each other on WhatsApp.
And so what happened if you went in the street?
So the first few days wasn't bad, but people were thinking, oh, I don't have to go to school, so let's go to the park. And so the government decided to do a whole shutdown, and we could only go to the grocery store, the pharmacy, the doctor's office, and or to go to work if it's an essential work. There was also martial law, so they put a curfew and you couldn't go out before 9 a.m. or after 9 p.m. and they were strictly enforcing this. A lot of people were actually put in jail because of this, and a lot of people were getting a lot of fines because of this. Even another auxiliar, a teaching assistant, told me that he was out at 9:03 p.m. and he got stopped by the cops and they were questioning him and they were about to fine him.
Even just like 3 minutes past the curfew, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So what made you decide to come back? I know our parents were kind of like on the fence. I was on the fence.
I was trying to decide what to do because I was kind of in a panic for a minute, just trying to decide, should I wait it out or should I come back? And because we only have 2 months left in the school year, and so I was trying to figure out if it's worth it to stay, come back, what should I do? I don't know.
If you didn't know, sorry to interrupt you, but she's a teacher. I forgot to say that. So the reason she was even in Spain was she was teaching English to little Spanish kids. So she had a contract, right?
Yeah, I have a contract from October until June, and the quarantine started officially. It started on March 16th, I believe, the Monday after my birthday, which was March 13th on Friday, and it lasted 2 weeks. Right when I landed in Chicago, I got a text from my roommate that they extended it another 2 weeks.
And then you got a message the other day from the embassy, telling you that if you're American, you should go home if you don't want to stay in Spain indefinitely. So
yeah, I had a flight to come back in June for the summer to visit my family, and I decided, well, I need to come back and be with my family at this time.
Yeah, so once we decided that she needed to come back, I mean, I was missing my little sister. My little sister was stuck in another country. I could not go visit her, and I was dying to see her. And there was a virus between us, so we needed to get her back in our little home of protection. So I know people asked on my Insta story, and if you're not following my Instagram, details are down below at Nadine Speaks, and you're at Straya_music. Okay, so now that we got that figured out, so what was it like? Tell us how you were trying to make the arrangements. So on our end, we were trying to figure out how to get her home. She had her ticket that she was supposed to come back in June, and she was trying to rearrange that, but
well, I had a ticket from KLM, so they were actually very good. I was able to go onto the website and change my ticket free of charge. And that was very smooth. The night before my flight, I decided to check my email, and I got an email that they were accepting nobody in the country unless they're a citizen of the Netherlands. So I frantically called KLM, and I was asking them, well, if I don't leave the airport, can I go on my flight, and they said yes. So I got a taxi to go to the airport because I didn't want to go onto the bus, obviously.
And how much was that taxi?
And the taxi was 100 euros.
Ridiculous, man.
From Toledo to Madrid, which it's about an hour in the car. So
you hopped on a taxi. It was 110 euros. She's on her way to the airport, trying to figure out if she can go to the Netherlands or not.
I get to the airport and I'm in the line to go check in my luggage, and they said, do you have a citizenship? And I showed them my American citizenship, and they told me I could not even get on the plane, and I had to figure it out. And I argued with them for a minute, telling them, well, the lady on the phone told me it'd be okay, and they just said, no, you have to figure it out. So I remember you telling me you lived your best airport fantasy, and you got on the next flight. Yeah, the silver lining. Yeah, so I had a little meltdown for a minute, and
10 meltdowns later.
And I called my parents telling them what happened, and it was either I go back to my apartment in Toledo after I packed up everything.
And tell them what everything was, because I don't think they understand, like, you were living in Spain.
I was living in Spain for 7 months.
Yeah.
So I had basically my whole wardrobe packed up in 2 suitcases, and I left a lot of stuff there, actually.
2 suitcases
and a carry-on
and
a backpack and a ukulele.
Thank you.
Imagine me. I had a big cart,
little
like
Strayita.
I had a big cart that I was carrying in the airport, and after I had my little meltdown, I sat down for a second to check other flights that would go directly to the US, and I found from Iberia a flight to Chicago and then to Houston. So I was in Terminal 2 in the Madrid airport. I got all my luggage. I carried it onto the bus to get to Terminal 4, and I purchased a ticket right then and there, which, yes, I always had a fantasy to go to an airport and just buy the next ticket out, so I guess it worked out.
I mean, like I was telling you guys in my previous video, I know that, you know, this devastating, what's happening in the world is pretty devastating, but always find the silver lining. She got her airport fantasy, and I'm sure you're living your best life on your couch fantasy right now.
Not as romantic as I thought, but...
So people are dying to know what the screening process was like when you finally landed in America. How did they test you for coronavirus? Because I'm sure you've seen in the news that Spain is getting pretty hectic right now. I mean, today, to date, I'm always like, tell me what the date is, because that's when you should like actually know in the data, because I know when you see this in the future, it might be even worse. But today is...
I don't even know. I forgot. I stopped counting. I'm just joking. I
think we can all agree that we don't know what day it is. So if you know what the date is, put it down below. Let me check my phone.
SOS.
SOS. Okay, so it's Tuesday, March 26th. No, it's not Tuesday.
It's Thursday.
It's Thursday, March 26th, and actually last night we woke up to the news that there were 700 more deaths, they were actually more than 700 deaths in Spain overnight.
Yeah, in 24 hours.
That's actually going above Italy now. Yeah, so it's actually, Spain is winning and she left. So can you imagine if my sister stayed there, what it would be like? I mean, I can't even imagine. I've seen in the news now, or I was looking at the data comparing the different countries, and I just saw that America exceeded and is #1 in the world for the cases of coronavirus, which is crazy. But I saw that according to the death toll, that America is actually lower than most countries. So put in the comments down below as to why you think that. Me and my mom were debating that it could be the quality of healthcare. You said
the number of hospital beds, the number of old people too in the country.
Oh yeah, that's another thing that we were talking about.
Well, Spain actually, in Italy and Spain rose a lot just because there's a lot of old people in the country, and this virus has a lot to do with your immune system.
And your pre-existing conditions, which old age is a pre-existing condition.
Yeah, so those countries are suffering a lot because of that. A lot of retirement homes, I was reading in the news, are suffering a lot. They can't even bring people to come pick up the bodies, so they were saying that the bodies are rotting in the retirement homes, which is really sad.
That's freaking me out because I don't even want to think of the smell.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. And by the way, shout out to my friends who are in Madrid and Toledo and all of Spain. My cousins are also there, so shout out to all of them. Comment, tell us how you're doing, tell us what you're doing, and
how is quarantine like treating you? Are you able to get groceries? Are you able to do anything? I mean, that's pretty devastating and scary. All right, so let's get back to business.
Okay.
You arrive in Chicago.
Okay,
that's where you came from, Madrid, and you went through customs. Tell us about the screening process and what the CDC did like to get you on the next flight.
Okay, so I arrived in Chicago, and when you arrive, you go through customs, and we actually kind of surpassed the customs. We all were in a line to go straight to the CDC, and actually before we landed on the plane, they gave us a form to fill out that had all our information, and also if we have any symptoms of the virus. And so whenever we landed, we gave them that form with our passport, and they walked us first to a person that everybody had masks on, by the way, and gloves. And they walked us to a person to first ask us pretty much the same questions that were on the form, and also where we're coming from, and if we've been to Iran and China. And then they had It was actually right next to the baggage claim. So they had tables set up at the baggage claim, and we would go give them our form. They would check it, they checked our temperature, and then they gave us back the form. And that was it. They also gave us a paper with symptoms, things to be aware of. They told us that we should self-quarantine for 14 days, and that's all that they recommended.
And I don't know about you guys, but I'm on the fence about how I feel about the process, because to me, I don't know, like, as in your perspective, it's good because you didn't have to like go quarantine yourself somewhere with the CDC, and you know, we were thinking that she was gonna land and she was not gonna be able to come home with us, which was kind of scary.
I was thinking it was gonna be like Monsters Inc. where they
with the hazmat suits. Yeah. Oh my gosh, like.
It's a close one.
And I was scared. I thought that honestly that I was gonna land in Houston, I wasn't gonna be able to see my family, and they were just gonna take me somewhere and I would be quarantined
forever and a day, and we would never see her. But at the same time, as someone who's like on the receiving end of multiple people coming from multiple places, I mean, it's kind of scary that they're just taking the fever and they're like, oh, what symptoms could you have? I mean, I feel like people could lie about that. I feel like, just like we said before, the virus incubates for 14 days, so we don't know if people are positive for the virus. I know that test kits are not actually available, and I was actually reading today that even people that want to get tested are not being able to get tested because they're not being able to receive any new testing kits. I know Trump alluded to like a drive-through testing process, but I have yet to see any kind of infrastructure for that.
Yeah, in my perspective, I think that as a traveler, I'm happy that it was so quick, but at the same time, it's the same thing. I wish that they kind of had like a test kit that didn't take so long, that we could just know right away, because I'm coming back actually to a full house of people, and there are old people in my house. So I'm a little nervous because I don't want to hurt them either.
Yeah, and you've been here for how many days now?
About 4
days. I mean, we don't know what's gonna happen in 10 days. I think the scariest thing about this whole thing is the fear of the unknown. Like, that's what is scaring me more than the actual virus, because we see places like Spain, we see places like Italy, China, Iran, South Korea, and they're experiencing like very high volumes of people dying. But what about, how is it going to be in America? I know that other places like Singapore, I think North Korea, I forgot, I was looking at this graph where they actually plateaued, and they actually were able to reach the curve that everyone's talking about quarantine.
Wow. So I'm worried the most about, honestly, the economy, because I lost my job, and a lot of my friends lost their jobs. A lot of business owners are losing their business, and that to me is scary, because as my dad was actually telling me, during hurricanes and disasters like that, we gain a lot from the economy by purchasing stuff after the disaster. But right now, it's not really something that we can rebuild in a sense physically, and so sales are gonna go down. It's gonna become like a crash, pretty much. Sorry, that was depressing.
So I'm so happy you're back.
Me too.
I'm so happy she got home healthy, safely. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and just a little insight to how it is to travel during these extenuating circumstances. I know that it's really cool to get first-hand perspective on traveling all the way across the pond to America and experiencing that crazy thing. I mean, this is a once-in-a-lifetime thing.
Yeah, I look on the news and I'm like, I was just there. Oh my god.
And now it's just like blown up. Like right after you left.
Yeah.
It's like you escaped, like you were running like slow motion like from a bomb, and it just like exploded behind you.
Perfect timing.
So leave a comment down below if you have any more questions for my sister. I know she'll be looking at the comments and be willing to answer. Let me know down below if you too experience coming from another country, and if they have different screening procedures in other countries. We would definitely like to know. So as always, if you like this video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below. Give a big like if you like seeing my sister's face on this, and don't forget to give her a follow at Strea_music. And don't forget to give me a follow at Nadine Speaks on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Alright, see you on my next video. Bye guys.
Bye.